Sonny, Joey, 500. Got some goats in the building.
Get ready for a shakedown.
Prepare for a shakedown. We from Philly where they clap like huddles when they break down. Get ready for a shakedown. We underdogs, my guy. Kinda used to all the hate now. Prepare for it, man. Y'all get it. My QB got swag. My wideout is award winning. His fly was fly. Joey and 500. Like and subscribe. Yeah. Here's a quote you can sing back. Shake squad up and don't be a dingbat. It's a shakedown.
Don't you frown. Here comes the shakedown.
Let's go.
Yo, by the way, King Dingbat here, and welcome to the Philly Shakedown podcast, where we just finished the regular season and the most epic collapse in the history of the NFL. Joey Shakes, what is happening?
Nothing's happening. Nothing good's happening. I mean, I really don't. I mean, there's nothing else to fucking say now. Like it's just we got hyped up this week. I mean, I didn't, but you know, you said before the stream started, like they were grasping for anything that they could hold on to for any type of motivation at this point. And it look what happened. I mean,
I'm completely guilty of that. I was looking for anything, man. I'm like hoping they turned the corner.
Yeah.
You know, the AJ Brown said something and a lot of stuff got aired, and I'm thinking all this stuff bullshit. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit.
Yeah.
It's all bullshit. Well, what is going on, everybody? John is here. Go F yourself. Joey, Splenda, Cito, Nathan, Cranes, Jersey Dolphins, Lassay, Dallas Cowboys for life, Renard, Ryan, everybody here, thank you so much. If I missed you, I apologize. Let me first say a couple things I got to say. One, congratulations to the Dallas Cowboys on winning the NFC East division. You're the 2023 NFC East champions. So congratulations to you. You took care of business, and you won. So congratulations. Congratulations to Cop Pizzle on winning his belt back, and congratulations on the Giants to the fans for beating us the way they did, because they destroyed us. They annihilated us. They embarrassed us. And it's one of the most humiliating, embarrassing months that I can remember as an Eagle fan, dude.
yeah. I mean, like, I don't see any change in the inconsistency of how you look from one game to the next, and what you're not doing are things that they've implemented in other games that they don't use in games that we're seeing now. And I don't know, it's so inconsistent, and the players look like they don't give a shit. The coaching staff is not. It's the same story the last month and a half. It's been.
Chris Kaufman, thank you for Super Chat. The Eagles are now the first team in NFL history to start 10-1 and finish with less than 12 wins. Like I said, it's historic. I expect in the future to see ESPN's 30-30, 30 for 30s, NFL Network special presentation of the most epic collapse in the history of the NFL. It's absolutely insane to me, you know. Thank you for that Super Chat. Chris, thank you for Super Chat. Goes, yo, 500 Joey Shakes. At Phillies Eagles Nation tweeted out that they just released the 2024 schedule like a few minutes ago. I'm sure they did, because they can tell you who you're going to play. You just don't know when.
Right.
Danny Paris at David Super Chat goes, it's about the Super Bowl, not the NFC East. Blitz and stunt. Listen, I can't even think of Super Bowl at this point. You know,
No.
Listen, here's the crazy thing. If you look at from the moment they started collapsing against San Francisco to each week down the schedule, they get worse and worse. They always say, well, we got to fix this, or we're going to change this, or we're going to have to make these adjustments. And every week they're worse. And they're worse. And they're worse. And they're worse, Joey. Every week. They get worse.
You don't know what you're going to get. You don't know what you're going to get every week. You don't know which side. I mean, now it's just to a point where they just can't get anything going at this point. You know, like you had a few guys sit out this game. Like, you know, DeAndre Swift wasn't playing today. And I felt like this is like the first game where they actually gave Rashad Penny a couple snaps in the second half, or 2-3 snaps, whatever it was. Like, it's just they're sprinkling shit in that's not even working. I don't know. You don't know.
No, go ahead.
No, you can't defend against the. I mean, all you gotta do. I mean, really, at the end of the day, it's like all you gotta do to beat Jalen Hurts is an all-zero blitz. That's all you gotta do to him. And
all he does is go to the right. Every time he goes to the right, it plays over. Chris Dog Davis Super Chat goes, laugh out loud. Slade just tweeted on X, let's go 0-0.
Oh yeah, dude. I looked at a bunch of players are saying that. Brandon Graham's
let me say this. Okay.
God.
It was 14-10. Dallas was up on Washington. That's still a game. And it was 24-0 in the second quarter. The Eagles waved the white flag. They gave up. They gave up on the division. They gave up on everything. They pulled Hurts because of his finger or whatever. They benched all their guys. But the truth of the matter is, this team quit on this coach. This team quit on Nick Sirianni. They don't play for him. They don't listen to him. Okay, I don't know what it is. I said this before. I've been saying this for weeks that this coaching staff lost this locker room. I think the players went between that Buffalo game. If you take that Buffalo game and you look how we win that game and how high we are, we're 10-1. You look at that Buffalo game and then you look at their attitude going into the Niners game. Somewhere between there, he lost the locker room. And to me, what happened, in my opinion, is if I had to bet money, the players went to him, said they want certain changes. He kind of ignored them and didn't do it. And then when they fired Sean Desai, the players lost all respect. Now, maybe it wasn't Nick Sirianni who fired Desai. Maybe that came from the front office, and the players didn't respect it. Somewhere along the lines, this team lost respect for the coach. He lost the locker room. He lost it, and he can't get it back. There's no getting it back.
Did you see the report that came out? I think this morning before the game, and it was like AJ Brown had multiple meetings with the team during the week, and apparently it was a talk about AJ Brown convincing some of the players to believe in the coaching staff, which means that there's a lot of players. From what we're getting from that is there's a lot of players that have an issue with this coaching staff, and a lot of guys have stayed quiet to this point.
Yeah. I haven't heard it, but I'm not surprised. They don't play. They don't play hard. Listen, when you miss the amount of tackles that they have, and the way that these guys go through the motion, and here's what's crazy is I don't even know how you evaluate or judge these players as players, because I don't think any of them are playing hard for this coach. I think he totally lost it. I think he lost the locker room. Yeah. Kingship Operation, thank you for super chat, my man. And what we were hoping is with the AJ Brown thing, really what it turns out that it most likely is that the front office made him go and talk to the public, to the media. It was the front office that told him to do it. To take like a lot of hardship off of the coaching staff and putting it more on the players. Yeah, I don't know. Could have been it. Father David Super Chat goes, it started day one from training camp. Bad coaches. These players, week after week, were carrying these coaches. They were 10-1. They were having to come back in the second half every game. And I think at some point the players, it got to be too much. And I think they lost the locker room. S.A. David Super Chat goes, the defensive line doesn't have the stamina to win one-on-one every play. Stunts would help to confuse the O-line and open up free rushers. They blitz poorly. They don't even work on the blitz. Like to me, that's all true. But that's a product of bad coaching, of coaching that has lost the locker room. The Umbrella Man David Super Chat, he goes, Joey, did you get more inches than the Eagles got? Snow, I mean?
Yeah. 4 to 8.
4 to 8. That's a lot. That's 3 inches more than the Eagles got right now. Andrew Davis Super Chat goes, this might be the worst coaching staff in the history of Philadelphia, including Chip Dip Kelly. How the hell is Lurie still paying them? I'm telling you, I think that next week I'm wearing all black to the game because it's a funeral. And I think Nick Sirianni's gone. I honestly don't think he's going to make it next year, Joey.
No, I don't. I today I didn't think. Look, what you see is what you get sometimes with this team every week. Like I thought that maybe they had a chance to lose this game, but not get destroyed today and not show anything going into this playoff game. But it's just showing that the first thing that's got to happen is the philosophy of how they do things. And this is from the front office. That's the first thing that's got to happen. But that's not going to happen first. It's going to be Nick getting fired. I mean, I'm preparing for Nick to get fired, bring Brian Johnson. I mean, even this week, I mean, how do you not, even after that game, how is nobody fired? A playoff game is fine. His halftime excuse was like, oh, we have a playoff game to get ready for next week. Like during this fucking loss that we took today, at this just getting destroyed today.
Yeah, and the thing is how could you go out there and play that way when you know you have to win and the Cowboys have to lose to get the 2 seed? Like, why wasn't that a thought in your mind? Myron Davis Supercheckers never looked this bad with Gannon. No, I'm telling you, it's this whole team is quit on this coaching staff. They've quit on them. You know. People forget. Philly 500-pound David Super Chat goes, we suck, forfeit the playoffs. Thank you, man. Appreciate the super chat 500, you fat ass bastard. But here's the thing, I've never seen in the history of watching the Eagles, I've never seen a collapse like this. You're 10-1, 2 games up on first place, and you finish with 11 wins. And now you're going into the playoffs. I mean, dude, it's not like, okay, you know how when you lose a game, then your coaches make adjustments, the players come out and they play harder, they play tougher next week. Like usually when a team loses, it's harder for them to lose the next week. They try, they just try harder. It's always tough to lose a lot of games. This team gets worse every week. They played worse today than they played last week versus Arizona. They played worse against with Arizona against they did Seattle. It gets worse. It's getting worse. It's not getting better, Joey. Right. It's getting worse.
Yeah, and you're getting worse at the wrong time.
At the wrong time. Chris Miller, David Super Chat goes, brought a ticket for Titanic. Absolutely. I could tell you exactly when this game was over. When the Eagles went for it, it was like fourth. It was a 4th and 6 at their 48, 49-yard line. For whatever reason, they decide we're going to go for it, and they don't get it. It was the team quit. The team quit at that point. It was over. It was over.
I'm surprised nobody has spoken up by now or that pissed off in the locker room or like everybody is just with this. I swear to God, if they didn't have this playoff game, all hell would break loose right now. Like if they're holding on to hope. They're making the excuse of having this playoff game next week as if they could still change it around. Like,
yeah. And Chris Coffin makes an interesting he asked an interesting question. Maybe they lost locker room with Desai was fired. I think that was the last straw. Like I think they were losing the locker room. And then I think what happened, and I'm just guessing, the front office and Howie Roseman probably called down to Nick Sirianni and said, you have to fire Sean Desai. We want defensive coordinator change. Because they brought in what's-his-face that whole time to be over his shadow. They brought in Patricia to be looking over Desai the whole time. And so they tried to make the switch. And I think when Nick Sirianni, I'm speculating, when Nick Sirianni had to fire the defensive coordinator and it came from the front office, I believe that any respect that the team had for that coach went out the window. And they were like, yeah, well, he's not really our coach. He's not leading us. It's the front office. So why bother? That's my theory.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, we're going to find out. We're going to find out after next week.
We already found out. Yeah. Dude, are you telling me like there's still there's no waiting to find out. They're not winning next week.
Not that's not what I mean. I mean, we're going to find out what exactly behind the scenes transpired that caused the collapse. That what was the one thing that led to the collapse?
I think the only way we're going to find it out is when players leave in the offseason.
Yeah,
free, exactly. and that's we're going to get answers from there.
motherfucker. Eastside says, don't matter what Coach Howie wants control. We will get another yes man. Howie got to take a back seat or go. Anyone who thinks that it hurts problem, no fool. I agree. The ultimate problem that you have, okay, is that Howie is going to make sure he puts a yes man in. And that's always going to be a problem. And you have to get, if you want to go out and get a good coach, he's going to have to give up some control. Okay, that's a whole nother issue, but right now, where we're at right now, if the Eagles want to win next week, the only chance that they have, and it may not even work, most likely wouldn't, the only chance they have is to fire Nick Sirianni tonight and then make like Stoutland the interim coach. Like that would be the only way, because he lost the locker room. The players aren't going to play for him. They're not playing hard. And now you got these guys that are getting all injured because they're half-assing. They're checked out, Joey. They're checked out, man.
Yeah.
You know what's fucked up is we knew this the 49ers game. If you go back and watch the stuff, 49ers game, they didn't show up. Remember the first game, we knew instantly that team didn't show up. They looked different. Before the game started, they didn't show up. And we all knew it. We saw how they were pushing Bradbury around and none of the players were they were checked out. They checked out.
I don't know how you check out in that situation. Like something dramatic happened behind the scenes that we don't know, or something happened.
Yeah, something dramatic happened.
Yeah,
I think the players probably, and we talked about it, they probably went and said, "Listen, we're going down 10 points every week and coming back. We need to make some changes." And then Nick Sirianni said, "Well, this is what we are and who we are, and we got to flour it, we got to water it," and some bullshit. And the players said, "The hell with that." And then after the game to the Dallas game, we fired Desai, and then the players lose all respect. That's what I think happened. Andrew Davis Super Chat goes, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson looks like a effing genius for leaving the shit show, right? You're right. Morgan Holmes, remember for 12 months, thank you so much for your support. He goes, watch us win next week and give us false hope, shaking my head. Yeah, with the way things going, they'll win the whole thing now, watch. And we'll all be like, oh, we love our coach. No, it's over, dude. It's over. It's over.
Beyond over.
And I don't want Patricia back next year, dude. I do not want Matt Patricia as the defensive coordinator. They've got to change their philosophy. Seriously, they need to say Howie Roseman needs to give up some of the control when it comes to coaches and having coaches' inputs in certain things. They've got to give up that control, and they've got to get back to the old Eagles philosophy of playing defense, not this Vic Fangio style of crap.
Just give me a couple coordinators that come in with their own playbooks and their own style and let them run it. So this way they get blamed for the whole thing if it fails. Like what's the downside to that? If you're going to run things off analytics, and if Howie Roseman is involved and somewhat gives his feedback on what the Eagles are doing on game day, it's not good. Whether it's the final three of the roster at the end of training camp, whether they have to, not only is it the final three of the roster or it's getting into play calling, but they might have to change situational ways how to draft and go after certain positions they're out of their comfort zone with, and Howie needs to be in collaborative effort with the coaching staff during these moments. I'm not saying that coaches have final say, but it's got to be a joint decision on certain decisions they make. So it's a lot that goes on. It's philosophy at the end of the day.
I'm not advocating to fire Howie or get rid of him. Like, he does a great job with things like the contracts. He does a great job in trade. He's been better in the draft, and he should be part of all of it. But you have to not hire he's always hiring. Think about it. Doug Peterson was a first-time head coach. It was his first chance. He was a yes man. Then you have Nick Sirianni. He was a yes man. When Doug won the Super Bowl, Doug started to get some balls, and then he wanted to coach his own thing, and he thought he built up equity from a Super Bowl to be able to have more say, and the Eagles said no and fired him anyways. Then they go out and they get Nick Sirianni. It's the same thing. They're going to do the same thing.
The dots don't connect because when you play – when coaches leave this team and are successful anywhere else – when players leave and they're successful anywhere else, like I feel like you said it kind of this stream, like when we were looking at players to see what they could do, okay? And you're looking at next year, who you're keeping, who you're letting go. Like, because these positions are so flawed, how are you supposed to see what you have and what you don't have? How are you supposed to see what you have going to next year? Like, there's no observation of, because the schemes are failing the players and the coaches are failing the players. How are they supposed to figure out?
Yeah,
it's confusing. It's bad.
I mean, here's a perfect example. Somebody said in my stream today that Jordan Davis was a bust, and I said, "Well, you say he's a bust because he's playing bad right now, but they're all playing bad because they all checked out. They're all out." But if you look at him the first 11 weeks, the best rush defense in the NFL, the guy's chasing down Josh Allen. It's the team collective as a group has quit.
But how do you single out Jordan Davis? The whole fucking defensive line has hit a wall. Right. Like Josh Sweat hasn't had a sack in fucking 8 weeks? I mean, it's been a while.
Well, how about this? The first 3 plays of the games, they got Hassan Reddick in pass coverage.
I don't know.
Your best pass rusher.
They did that last year.
Yeah, it's stupid. Grant, they were super takers. Boys, you two are the best. Keep it real. Thank you, man.
Appreciate it, Grant.
We appreciate that. You know, it's not fun. It's not fun to talk about. I hate having to go here, but I mean, I've never seen a team do what they've done. You know, and I know people will say, well, they were just lucky all these weeks and they're not really that good. But you can't tell me for 2 years, for 32 straight weeks, team is in first place, has the best record in the NFL for 32 straight weeks, then start the season 10-1 and then collapse like this. It didn't just catch up to them. They have talent. They still were the same players. Something happened and the locker room was lost. They quit. They stopped believing. Something happened. And that's all there is to it.
Yeah.
Aloha, DC David Super Chat goes, do you think Hurts vets will say F it in the playoffs and override shitty calls? How he needs to let go and hire a competent coach that can scheme? I think they're going to go out and I think they're going to do the same thing that they did this week.
Mm-hmm.
And next week they're gonna lose. I mean, don't you think Todd Bowles? I mean, Todd Bowles is a Jim Johnson disciple. You don't think he's going to blitz Hurts' ass?
Yeah, because everything takes too long to develop. I remember when Tyrod Taylor is rushing out of the pocket, there's guys open. Like every time Hurts rolls out, it doesn't matter if it's left, doesn't matter if it's right. The guys are still running routes. Like everything takes too long to fucking develop. There's nothing quick with this offense. There's no motion. There's nothing. I mean, it's shotgun or I mean, it's play action, which I mean, the only players that played well today, really realistically, I wouldn't even say the garbage touchdown from Mariota, but I'm saying like Kenny G had an okay game on some runs.
Was great.
Braden,
32-yard run they ran. Then they threw 4 or 5 straight times in a row.
I mean, the punter was good today.
I think Britton Covey is the best player on their team.
Britton Covey, honestly, dude, should be for the future, should really be a situational gadget type wide receiver for this team.
I see him as a guy that could be that third down wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. I would start playing him more. Never stressing. Thank you for Super Chat goes, told Philly earlier, no way Mariota can have motion plays, but Jalen can't have motion. Dream coach Eric B. Do you think I'm assuming and I'm guessing that the reason that looked different like that is because they're going to Mariota? What do you feel comfortable with at the moment because he's coming in, right? Don't you think that's why it was different?
I don't know. I mean, I felt like I feel like with Mariota, it looked a lot faster. I feel like it looked a lot. Yeah. He's obviously fast. He's definitely faster than Hurts as of right now because Hurts is just not 100% and hasn't been all season. But it looked a little bit more quicker. Like it just seemed more like kind of distrusted my eyes a little bit on a few plays where I thought it was going one direction, went the other. So
yeah, as a David Super Chat goes, I had Doug wanted Hurts over Wentz and got fired. No, that's not what it was. The reason Doug got fired was because 2 things. One, Doug wanted to install his own offensive coordinator. Howie didn't want him to. They didn't want the guy Doug wanted. And Doug wanted more control in general and more say over the roster. And they didn't want to give it to him. That's why he got fired. That's why he left. Chris Kaufman, David Super Chat, he goes, Reed had complete control and rebuild the team. He did. And then when Reed left, Howie took control. And then when Howie had control, it didn't go so good. And if you guys remember, Chip Dip Kelly came in. And then Chip Dip Kelly got control over Howie. And Howie went to the boiler room. And then when they fired Chip Kelly and they put Howie back in his place, then Howie said, I am never going to allow this to happen again. I am not putting myself in a position to ever give up control like that. And then ever since then, he's hiring guys that never have been head coaches before. Remember this, when Doug Peterson became head coach, Jim Schwartz was already the defensive coordinator. They already hired the coaches for Doug Peterson. It's crazy. Green Blaze the Flight with David Super Chat goes, what if we boycott the team till Howie hires outside? I don't know.
It's not gonna. I mean,
it won't do anything.
No.
As the David Super Chat goes, when Tyrod was passing, you could see receivers open, wide open. I really feel like it seems like every week the Eagles come out, and it's like as soon as the players see that it's the same old shit, they just deflate. And as soon as they went for that 4th and 6 and didn't get it at midfield, I felt like they gave up. I felt like they gave up.
It's true.
Giovanni, David Super Chat, pronounced Javon. Okay, Javon, left out. How do you feel about people comparing us to the 2012 Ravens, who ended the season the same way and ending up winning the Super Bowl? I have to go back and watch. I mean, did the Ravens, did they collapse like that and then go win the Super Bowl?
They lost 4 or 5 straight or whatever.
Did they?
Was. Yeah.
Well, I guess at least, I guess you could say there's precedence for it. You know,
that's what Nick showed them this week. They showed them the teams that played bad at the end of the season. That was one of the things that Nick did with the team this week. Yeah. So let's just lose this game and, you know.
Oh, God.
I don't know.
Eric Rubin, David Super Chat, he goes, I said this during our first game against the Giants. The NFL should literally ban us and take away our playoff berth. Most embarrassing performance of all time. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Look, Joey's mistress is here. Look at that thumbnail. Chris Melnick, David Super Chat. He goes, I just saw Laurie walk into the locker room. What does that mean? Yeah, there's a clip of Nick Sirianni walking to the locker room, and Laurie's with him. I think Laurie's going to fire his ass. What do you think he's going to do?
Dude, I'm all for it. For right now.
I think he's going to fire him. I think he's going to fire him tonight. I think, listen, if you want to save the season, you fire him now. I mean, it makes Stoutland interim coach because he lost the locker room. The players do not listen to him. They're not reacting to him. You know, it's the truth. 500, did you see Sirianni's press conference? He spewed the effing shit he's been saying the past 5 weeks. Like effing script, Bucks are taking us to woodshed. I didn't even see it yet.
I'm afraid to watch it. I'm afraid
I'll watch it. Like I have to like get done this, and I have to go like emotionally eat and eat my depression away, and then I will definitely do that. But I don't want to hear what he has to say, you know. Frank says Howie is just Lurie's front man. Lurie is pulling all the strings, including analytics. Yeah, and maybe it's like Lurie, and yeah, maybe Howie is. I don't know. All I know is that something in that front office wants control, and it wants control to the point where it bleeds into the coaching and what they do. You know, I mean, you know, when you have a GM and you have a front office, you know, they deal with the contracts, they deal even with the scouting and drafting, all that stuff. But when you start bleeding into what kind of offense you're going to run, what kind of defense you're going to run, what kind of game plan you're going to have, that's bad, Joey. That's bad. You know?
Yeah.
It's booty time. David Super Chat, he goes, head coach, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator need to be canned the day after our loss in the playoffs. We all know this. Which players would you say need to go to? I think Bradbury's got to go. I think Bradbury. I mean, every week teams pick on Bradbury. Every week. The Eagles don't even give him help. Like, why is he even playing at this point? You know, like he's got to go. You know, I think some guys like, I think you're going to see guys like Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham. I think they're going to go. I think they're a little
Maddox. Older. I mean, even Maddox. Yeah. Even there's guys that like just got to get out of here.
It's Howie Vision. We're all living in it. And Howie Vision can be good and it can be bad. Right now, it's bad. It's bad. You know. Why aren't you Dallas Cowboy fans celebrating your own chat? They love to listen. I'm gonna keep a nice spot on the couch for the Cowboys. They'll be there soon enough with us. It won't take long, believe me. Aaron Roscoe, David Super Chat goes, crap the beds, walls, floors, and pets. Just torch the house, right? It's yeah. I mean, it's just crazy. And then, you know, did you hear anything about the AJ Brown injury? Like how bad it is?
It's not.
It looks bad when
Rappaport said the ACL is still intact. He tweeted out he tweeted out. I think good. Not during the game. I think he tweeted it out. It's not ACL is fine, and he was walking. He was walking on his own power, and he was after the game. He was walking on. I mean, you can still walk on ACL. It doesn't matter, but the ACL is fine. That really, like, I was like, dude, of course, like MetLife, the turf, like you know what it's like going into this fucking stadium. Like you know.
And then Jalen hurts his finger. You know, it's like, okay, he hurts his finger, comes back in the game, and they throw like 8 straight times. Like I don't. Like, they actually run the ball well. They were running the ball well. All you had to do is keep doing it. I don't understand. What, you know, that's what's so annoying. It's like, it doesn't even matter about winning. It's like they just want to win a certain way, or it's not good enough, you know? It's crazy. It's crazy. I love comments like this, excuses. We are saying that our team has quit on the coaching staff. It doesn't get worse than that. There is no level worse than that. So what are you talking about saying, making excuses? We're literally saying our team quit. I don't know how it gets worse than that. Just, you know what I mean? Like, what are you talking about? I'm sorry. Just sometimes you guys say, you Cowboy fans say the dumbest shit in the world. Think you're sacrificing too many chickens. DJ David Super Chat, he goes, who would you all want as the next Eagles head coach? Bill Belichick. They would never do it, though.
No.
They would never do it. Never do it. Harbaugh, I've seen a lot of names about Harbaugh. Never do it. They're going to get somebody off of, like, you know,
some assistant coach
from, it'll be like the assistant quarterback coach to the assistant quarterback coach of the Kansas City Chiefs. You know, they're not going to give control to a coach that has done it in the league before. You know, they're just not. Nick, have a rah-rah speech once again. Yeah, nobody's listening. Matt Patricia will be the next head coach. I don't even want him to be the next defensive coordinator, dude. I don't, you know. It ain't gonna happen. They're not gonna hire a well-named coach. It's gonna be somebody that nobody knows that they were even, you know what I mean?
We have more bad news now.
What?
Sidney Brown tore his ACL.
Really?
Yep. Just reported. He tore his ACL. So that means he's going to be out all the offseason, next offseason, and probably won't even play the first couple of games next year.
No, he won't be ready till like October, November. And then it'll take him a whole he's not going to you're going to have to get another safety, dude. I mean, it's going to take him a few years before. That's a shame. That's really a shame. Yeah, that's bad. Smith's crazy favorite super chat. He goes, sorry, I don't know the other guy's name. Have any theories on what went down that made the whole locker room change this quickly and drastically? Yeah, I mean, we talked a little bit about earlier. I believe that the players after that Buffalo game went to the coaching staff. This is just me speculating now. And they probably said something like, we got to change some things like that. And the coaches didn't really listen to them. And then, that kind of soured the players. And then that really what broke the camel's back was when they fired Sean Desai. I think when they fired Sean Desai, the players lost respect for that. Maybe it wasn't even the coaches that wanted to do it, but it came down from the front office, and the players saw the front office tell the coaches to fire, and they said, wow, these coaches aren't running anything over here. And I think it was something like that. I think something like that happened or occurred that broke this locker room. Something like that had to happen, because how do you go from what happened in Buffalo to the next week in San Francisco where you look like you're not even interested in playing? So yeah, that's what I think. But I mean, we won't know until later, until once the off season is here and people are talking. Liquid David Super Chat goes, Wentz beat the 49ers and we can't beat the Giants. And you can't beat Arizona. I mean, don't forget we lost to Arizona last week. And face it, on Christmas Day, if they start Tyrod Taylor, we probably would have lost that game too.
Yeah, probably.
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 David Super Chat goes, Capizzle wants his belt back. Yeah, well, we'll see. I guess he'll get it. I guess I'll have to ship it to him. It's crazy, Ben Johnson, next head coach. I don't know. We'll see. Army Mom Heather says, the pressure cooker is different when you have to deal with it all the time. Sirianni lost his team due to the lack of knowing the situation. Yeah, very, very well could be. Whatever it is, something happened and he lost the team, because I refuse to believe that this team is just not that good and never was that good. I don't believe that. They were one drive away from winning a Super Bowl, and they started 10-1. And yeah, they weren't perfect, but good teams win. And then they've literally become I think they're the worst team in the in football right now. I think that
they are.
They're playing the worst football, and they're going into the playoffs. Show enough says Wentz out here winning for teams that ended his career. I know. Well, I mean, he was playing a bunch of backups too, though. Ron does lovely sports. David Super Chat. My New York Giants hubby said you will fire your coach and hire Jason Garrett. Cowboys Nation first NFC bid. I do not want.
He ain't he's done with coaching. I don't think he'll ever come back to coaching.
I hope not. Danny Patterson, David Super Chat, my man. He goes, what would you guys say to the team if you could tonight? If you could, I would say this. If I was Nick Sirianni, I would say I want to apologize to all you guys for not putting you guys in the right positions, for not listening to you guys, and what you had to say in the input. I was wrong. I was stubborn. And if you can find it in your heart to forgive, I would like to make this thing right and start by playing next week. That's what I would say. That would be my pitch.
That's fair.
I mean, what else are you going to say? Everything else, otherwise it's broken, Chief David Super Chat goes, the Niners mentally broke this team. That's when the collapse began. But the problem with that is it didn't occur during the game. They were checked out before that 49ers game even started. Just go back and look at the warm-up tapes, back where they were warming up. Something happened between that game and the Buffalo game, in my opinion. Drew, thank you for Super Chat. He goes, this team is cooked, guys. How about Frank Reich for new coach? Not sure who we would get for a defensive coordinator. You guys rock. Man, thank you so much. Yeah, we're cooked. Stick a fork in us. I'm wearing all black next week because I'm going to a funeral. It's I can't see how we can win next week. It's impossible. I like Frank Reich. I wouldn't mind, but I don't know if does Frank Reich, after having really been in a situation with 2 bad owners. Does he want to go to a position where he has to be a yes man? Does he really want to do that? I don't know.
Yeah, I get it. I
Morgan,
don't.
No, Morgan Holmes. Thank you for super chat. He goes, give Stout a chance. You never know. He might be the dude. He has been around the team and how it works. I think he'd be good. I say give him a chance. At this point, why not? Why not? Keith Saunders. They were super chat. He goes, Brian Johnson looks like the Black Homer Simpson. Brian Johnson. I don't even know. I mean, I don't even know. How do you even assign responsibility to him or Nick Sirianni? Like, it's so broken that it's hard to put things together, because we don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
Right.
Rhonda, a lovely spark, became a member. Thank you so much. Welcome to Dingbat Nation, Rhonda. Welcome and congratulations to your Cowboys on beating us. Leo Davis Super Chat goes, what does Sirianni actually provide? Clean house. I mean, he's a good rah-rah guy, I guess. Maria Steele Davis Super Chat goes, who is the corner that is suspended that will be back with us next year? Rogers. What's his name?
Isaiah Rogers, I think.
Isaiah Rogers, nickel corner for the Colts. He was with the Colts. He's pretty good, and he's a good special teams guy. I mean, I think that'll be a nice addition for the Eagles, But, I wonder what he's thinking. I'm glad I'm suspended.
I'm glad.
I'm glad I'm suspended. Roger says, you're welcome, Five. We love our team. Thank you. Yes. Ron Rivera, next head coach. I don't want Rivera as the next head coach.
No.
I'll take him as defensive coordinator, but I don't want him as a head coach. I honestly, I don't want. There's a lot of the coaches that are like, recycle coaches. I don't want them either, But how about a coach like somebody that's been a good coordinator somewhere that is going to want some control? Why not give them that, like a Bieniemy?
That's all I'm looking for. Yeah, Bieniemy would be first on my list if he leaves.
Yeah. I mean, if you get a new coach, the first thing you have to do is you have to get a new coach, somebody that can make Hurts reach his full potential, help him reach his full potential. Adam Scott Davis Super Chat goes, my prediction, Eagles replace Nick Sirianni with the security guy, Dom. Laugh out. At least Dom has some fight in him. I know. He had more fight in him that game than the Eagles did against the Niners. That's true. So true. It is true. It's a brutal loss. I mean, there's no way to get around it. It's a brutal loss. And I mean, I don't know. Is there anything? I don't know what else to say.
No, I don't either. It's because
completely done with this.
This has been going on for 6 weeks. I mean, this is what's been going on. This is what we've had to deal with. And it's like, how many times can you hear these post game press conferences? How many times can you see the team playing the same way? And like every time we're promised something different that's going to get better every week, and it like you said, it hasn't gotten better, not even a little bit better.
No, it hasn't. He says you guys are not firing Nick. Listen, all I can say is, how can you not?
There's no way.
How can you keep him? I don't know how. How can a guy that loses the locker room like to that level? How can you keep him? I don't think there's a choice. I personally would do it tonight, so I maybe can salvage a playoff game. But if not, you got to fire him after you lose next week, and you will lose next week. You will. It will. So I don't know. I guess, I mean, if there's anything else you want to say, man, I ain't got nothing else, man. I ain't got nothing else.
No,
it's bad. This is bad.
I honestly wish we were just talking about the off season right now, because next week is just going to be more. I mean, maybe this pushes, maybe them embarrassing themselves next week is going to push. It's going to push ownership to make more moves. You lose a locker room like this. There's no way you're coming. There's no way you keep in this coach. You come back from this. Like I said, the philosophy has got to change in how they do things, because that's the number one thing on the list. Because I have and I think both of us believe, like you said earlier in the stream, that I think they're going to keep the same type of. I'm interested to see if they run the same offense next year. I'm interested to see if they run the same defense next year, because if they do, we're going to be excited. It'll be exciting things happening during free agency, to the draft, to all that stuff. And it's hard to be excited about stuff when you know that you're going to get the same result.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be good.
Yeah. Agreed. Philly Matt, thank you for the super chat. He goes, how does the whole league blitz but us? Yeah, and see, and that's one of those things that you wonder is the front office, are they forcing that on the Eagles? Because you look at Gannon, he goes to Arizona, he blitzes. Jim Schwartz, he goes to Cleveland, his defense looks totally different. It's like, are the Eagles boxing in these coaches and coordinators saying, this is what we do and this is what we run and this is what we want you to do? Because I don't know. I don't understand it. And I absolutely hate the philosophy of defense we play. Barbara Davis Super Chat goes, Cowboy fan here. I appreciate your passion and honesty for your team and your respect for others when you lose. Can't be easy, but good work. Thank you, man. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. We do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not fun. It's not fun. Bonzology, I would love Seth Jordan. I would love it. That's exactly what we need. But it's like the Eagles have moved away from that philosophy, and it's like they don't want to go back to it. I just don't get it, Nick gives a stew nod. That should be the title of my next video. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
It is. It's.
I'm like, I don't even know what to say. I just don't like. I'm very like. I'm just.
You're angry. I'm
pissed.
I'm extremely angry. And a lot of the things I want to say, I feel like, I'd better wait a week. Because like, they got one more game to play, so it's like, it's crazy.
Any team like two 1,000-yard receivers, 1,000-yard running back could have had over 4,000 with Hurts today. He didn't need much for that, and this isn't like a bad team that has statistics like that. Like, no bad teams have guys like that, and you're handed a top 5 offense on a silver platter, and you don't even know how to use them. And it's crazy.
Yeah, 30 fewer sacks. That pass rush cannot get home. And it's like, it looks like preseason football. No stunts, no nothing. It's just line up and straight up rush.
Mm-hmm.
It's pathetic. It's bad. I just think they're badly coached. I really do. And I think, you had other coaches, and the one thing you could say about Gannon is he could create pressure. Jim Schwartz could create pressure with his front. They don't create any pressure. None of it,
Can't hit home. Not at all.
Yeah.
The blitzing is like so late, and like they don't even know how to fucking blitz, even when they do. It's just
when they look uncomfortable blitzing. It's like it looks like they half commit to it, It's like it's so slow and it's so easy to pick up. It's just bad. Manuel Davis Super Chat goes, my wife said Jim Harbaugh for head coach. I would love it. I would absolutely love it. But I don't believe that the Eagles' philosophy of that front office would ever allow for a guy who would command the amount of, some sort of control he would want. I don't think they would give him that control.
Yeah, I mean, if now you see every year we always take things into consideration. Like if we see this from our coordinator, we're not going to believe that the Eagles are going to do this. So if the Eagles don't play 4 quarters of good football next year, I'm not going to believe anything until they actually play a full game of good football. Like that's going to be my mindset going to the offense. If the whole team looks like this, they can't play 4. I'm not saying perfection. I'm just saying productive. I'm just saying like, hey, they fought for 4 quarters. Like if they don't do that next year, I'm not. Because now I won't believe that they can hold on to, so I'm always going to believe that they're going to crumble if that's how they play football for 4 quarters, or a second half team comebacks. I mean, it was amazing to watch. It was a heart attack, and it was amazing to see how they fought and how resilient the team was. But we knew like the shit wasn't going to last that long. Like you're going to get figured out sooner or later, running the same plays, subbing out the same players, knowing what players don't do this or do this. It's upsetting. It really is.
It is. Psalm Thamer Super Chat goes, they are throwing the games to get rid of the coaches. They're not, I don't see how they're not. I mean, they're not playing for this coach. They're not playing. They're checked out. Philly Matt, David Super Chat goes, you see Wentz with the Rams, the team that ended him. Yeah. I saw the highlights, but it is what it is, man. Rams are a dangerous team, by the way. They're playing good football right now. So we'll see. We'll see. Good vibes only. David Super Chat goes, Super Bowl window closed fast. Can't sustain wins after Super Bowl. They were 10-1, 2 games up in first place in the conference, and they only won one more game the rest of the year. I don't know how that happened.
I mean, Nick tells the team after the game, it's 0-0, time to go on a run. It's like
he's
what
dead
the
man
fuck,
walking,
dude.
No, and you know what? We're going out whatever. You think the players? What do you think they're saying? They're saying exactly the same thing. Whatever. Exactly right. That's exactly what they're saying. Whatever. It's booty time. David Super Chat goes, we didn't play one dominant game all season. Nope. Not one. It's crazy. It's crazy. It really is crazy, man. I don't know what else to say. It's just bad, It's bad. But we'll see next week. We got to play Tampa. It's a playoff game, and there's no more excuses after that. You know what I mean? It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything else you want to say before we get out of here, man? Because
nope. I have nothing, and there's gonna be a lot. I'm the clock is ticking now. Like, Jeffrey Lurie going to the locker room after the game, like they're just holding on to coaches this week for a fucking playoff game for promise and hope. And I don't know. I don't know what to say. Yeah,
I agree with you. All right, guys, we're gonna let you guys go. Eagles lost. It's just depressing. It's just really, really depressing. And we'll be back. We'll do this one more time. We'll see where it ends up. But with that said, you guys have a great, great night. Take care. We'll talk to you later. Peace.